Dear students, hope you all are doing well at home. Stay home and stay safe. In the previous lectures, we have covered about the distributed systems concepts like the definition, introduction, history of the distributed system, system models, computer architectures. We have covered all the 5 system models. And now, in this class, you will be able to know what is the importance behind distributed systems and why they are gaining popularity nowadays. So, the topic is why are distributed computing systems gaining popular? The concept is discussed in these points. And the first one is the reason behind that gaining popularity is inherently distributed applications. Inherent means within. Okay. Next, inherently distributed applications. For this, the best example is applications which are distributed are say you can think of it as a computerized banking system is a distributed application. Means in a computerized banking system, a customer can deposit or withdraw money from his or her own account from any bank, from any branch of the bank. Not any bank, any branch of the bank. Okay, next. We can also think of a distributed application as a worldwide airline reservation system. Okay, a worldwide airline reservation system. We can reserve tickets from anywhere. So these two are the distributed applications which we can think of, and inherently distributed applications means the applications can be processed from anywhere. So such examples we have discussed are banking system, computerized banking system, and this one, what is this, airline reservation system. And the other best example is the data related to particular employee in a nationwide organization can be retrieved from any branch office. Okay, understood? Again repeating, if an organization is there, it is a nationwide organization. So, in an employee database of a nationwide organization, the data related to the employee can be generated at any employee's branch office. And in addition, the global need to view the entire database is also possible at any branch office. So these are some of the examples of applications which are distributed inherently. So with this reason, the distributed computing system is gaining importance and popular. And the second reason behind this is information sharing among distributed users. So, the reason for the popularity of distributed computing systems is this one, means person to person communication facility is possible by sharing information over a long distances, great distances. Even the person is in other nation also, we can share the data. So any project which is geographically disparated means both the users are in different locations. In such a case also, We can transfer the files. We can transfer the files of any project. We can do an exchanging of messages by electronic mail to coordinate the work. So information sharing is possible among distributed users, and it is known as computer supported cooperative working or groupware. The next reason is resource sharing. We have also discussed about this, that information is not only the thing that we can share in a distributed computing system, we can also share hardware and software resources such as software libraries, databases, and hardware resources such as printers, hard disks, plotters, etc. in an effective way among all the computers and users in a distributed computing system. So, resource sharing is another reason behind the gaining popularity of distributed computing systems. And the next one is better price performance ratio. This means if there are some hardware parts or hardware resources which are high in cost, so we can reduce by using the distributed system. Reduction of the price of microprocessors is nothing but we are using the combining the increasing speed of communication networks, and we are getting it for better price. As the resources are shared among different users, any expensive peripheral devices, say for example color laser printers, high speed storage devices, all those can be shared among all the computers of the same distributed computing system. So we can reduce, we can get it for a better price, and the performance ratio is also good. And the next reason is shorter response times and higher throughput. Throughput means output. Response time means whatever the time when the user submits the request and the user get back the response is nothing but the response time. So shorter response time means the server will respond in a less time and we will have a higher throughput. Why? Because multiplicity of processors is possible in distributed computing systems. So, two commonly used performance metrics are response time and throughput. So, these two are efficient while using distributed computing systems. So, this is the another reason behind gaining popularity. And the next reason is higher reliability. What is the term reliability refers to? Reliability refers to the degree of tolerance against errors and component failures in a system. Means tolerance means how long it can bear the failure of the components is nothing but the tolerance. Like that, higher in reliability means a reliable system prevents loss of information even in the case of component failures. So, here in distributed systems, the multiplicity of storage devices and processors in a distributed computing system allows the maintenance of multiple copies. When we maintain multiple copies, we can say it in a situation such as any catastrophic failures or any loss in the components. In such a case also we can get the information. The availability of the system will be there. So the advantage of higher reliability is an important reason for the use of distributed computing systems for critical applications. Another reason behind is extensibility and incremental growth. So another advantage, we can say that it is another advantage of distributed computing system is they are capable of incremental growth. Incremental growth means stepwise growth, which means it is possible to gradually extend the power and functionality of a distributed computing system by simply adding additional resources. When we want to extend or increment the system, we will add additional resources of hardware and software, whatever required when the system is in need. So, incremental growth is a very attractive feature of distributed systems. So, properly designed distributed computing systems have the property of extensibility, means you can extend. For example, you have some, you can extend in your phone memory, you can extend in your phone, that is the extensible up to 64 GB, like that. Extensibility is the feature giving along coming along with the device, like that. It is a property, and incremental growth should be designed while designing a distributed computing system, and they are called as open distributed systems, which have, so open distributed systems have extensibility and incremental growth. And the next reason is better flexibility in meeting user needs, means in the name itself we are able to identify that whatever user needs are there, we can meet, and we are feeling much flexibility in case of using distributed computing system instead of centralized computing system. Means different types of computers are suitable for performing different types of computations. For ordinary data or processing jobs, or some process where high performance computers are suitable for complex mathematical calculations, like that. We will have different types of computers which performs different computations. So a distributed computing system may have a pool of different types of computers, so that we can whenever the most appropriate one can be selected for processing the user's job depending on the nature of the job. So if the user got any process which requires mathematical computations to be calculated, like that, then also it is possible. Why? Because we have pool of processors. So depending on the nature of the job of a user, we can select an appropriate processor for processing the user's job. So it meets the user needs as per the nature of the job. So all these advantages, or we can say that these are the reasons behind the distributed computing system for gaining popularity. Hope you all understood these reasons. Now, before moving to issues in designing a distributed operating system, you need to know what is a distributed operating system. So, an operating system is nothing but an interface between the hardware and a user, which you have studied in operating systems subject. Same here also, according to Tannenbaum, an operating system as a program is a program that controls the resources of a computer system and provides its users with an interface or virtual machine that is more convenient to use than the bare machine. So what it provides means it provides a convenient environment and where the user can work in an efficient way. See, whenever there is no operating system, you cannot load any software onto it. You cannot use. Why you are able to use some editors or Microsoft Word applications, Office work applications, how you are able to use? As they are installed on the operating system, as they are installed in your drive. So without operating system you cannot perform any job. Even just it is a hardware, just a hardware, we cannot use it directly. So what operating system is doing? It is creating a convenient environment for the user in order to use in an efficient way. Any application we take, we can use it in an efficient way, and it also controls the resources of a computer system. Controlling the resources of a computer system, it provides the users with an interface in which the user can easily do his or her own job. So according to this definition, the two primary tasks of an operating system can be think of as to present users with a virtual machine that is easier to program than the underlying hardware, or to manage the various resources of the system. So this involves performing some tasks like keeping track of who are using which resource, and granting resource requests. The operating system should take care of accounting of resource usage and mediating conflicts requests from different programs and users. Mediating means it should conflict requests may arise. Conflict request means when a user A also want printer and user B also want printer, there is only one resource printer. Then at the point of the time, if both requests are for printer, how it will mediate the conflict requests, and different programs and users coming from different programs and different users. So all these we have covered under functions of operating systems in operating systems subject. The operating systems. So what are the types of operating systems, and what type of operating system we will use under distributed computing system means distributed operating system. Operating systems commonly used for distributed computing systems can be broadly classified into two types. They are network operating systems and distributed operating systems. The three important features which are used to differentiate between these two operating systems. What are they? Network operating systems and distributed operating systems are, these three features are differentiating between network and distributed operating systems. What are they? System image, autonomy and fault tolerance. These three features are differentiating. Differentiating means making a network operating system and distributed operating system. Let us see what is the feature of system image. System image means it is nothing but from the point of view of the users we are talking. In case of a network operating system, the users view the distributed computing system as a collection of distinct machines connected by a communication subsystem. This is important. Each machine is different from another. That is, see here, the users are aware of the fact that multiple computers are being used. So, in a network operating system, there are a collection of distinct machines connected to a communication subsystem, and we can know that multiple computers are being used. Okay, system image means that one. How many systems we are using, we can know. But in a distributed operating system, it hides the existence of multiple computers and provides a single system image to its users. Means it will create an illusion that there is only one single system. See here, that is, it makes a collection of networked machines, acts as a virtual uniprocessor. Uniprocessor means only one. So this is nothing but the system image feature. What it is meant for? In a network operating system, the users can view the distributed computing system as a collection of distinct machines, different machines, connected by a communication subsystem. And the users are able to know, users aware means to know. Users are able to know that multiple computers are being used. See, in a network, if somebody is online or in a Google Meet or in Zoom, you will be able to know how many participants are there in that meeting, right? That is nothing but in a network we can know multiple computers are being used. It is one of the example. On the other hand, whereas in a distributed operating system, it hides the existence of multiple computers. It acts as a virtual uniprocessor. So, two examples for the system usage is, if the user wants to execute a job on a different machine in a network operating system, he or she will be fully aware on what machine the job is executing. If he want to execute on a different machine, then what he or she has to do? They have to either log on to the machine by using some kind of remote login command or any special commands we need to use, and we have to specify the machine on which the job is to be executed. We need to specify on which machine the job is to be executed. Means in either of the case, means in his local computing distributed computing system or in a remote computing system, he will be able to know on which machine the job is going to be executed. In case of network operating system, he is fully aware about the execution of job on which machine it is going or on which machine it is executed, like that. But in a distributed operating system, the user generally will not have any knowledge about the machine. He will be able to know that job is executed. That is this. The distributed operating system dynamically and automatically Okay, underline this point, dynamically and automatically allocates jobs to the various machines of the system for processing. Here a user can choose on which machine my job should be executed, but here it will be done dynamically and automatically. That is what system image means. We will not be able to know, or we are not aware on which machine the job is executed. So, a user of distributed operating system generally will not have knowledge. He has no knowledge of the machine on which the job is executed. The job will execute and the result will come back to the user dynamically and automatically. That's it. And the next feature is autonomy. Means a network operating system is built on a set of existing centralized operating system. But in a distributed computing system, each computer of a distributed computing system has its own local operating system. So, there is essentially no coordination at all among the computers except for the rule that when two processes of different computers communicate with each other, they have to follow or they have to agree on communication protocol. Means in this is all in a network operating system built on centralized operating system, handles the interfaces and coordination of remote operations. Okay, I am repeating again. In a network operating system, each computer of the distributed computing system has its own local operating system. So what happens? There is essentially no coordination required. No coordination required for this purpose. So they will do their own job and they manage independent decisions. But in a distributed operating system, there is a single system-wide operating system and each computer of the distributed computing system runs a part of this global operating system. So, autonomy is one of the feature. Individuality or dependency is not there in a network operating system. So, this feature also one of the important one for differentiating between network operating system and distributed operating system. In short, if we want to summarize this feature means, it can be said that the degree of autonomy of each machine of a distributed computing system that uses network operating system is considerably high as compared to that of the machine which uses distributed operating system. Autonomy means individuality. We can do as per our own. So it is high in network operating system than distributed operating system. Why? Because in distributed it is shared. So the individuality or cooperation is needed. Individuality is less. Cooperation and coordination should be there while using distributed operating system. Another third feature which differentiates network operating system and distributed operating system is fault tolerance capability. Means in a network operating system, the fault tolerance capability can be think of that if 10% of the machines of entire distributed computing system are down at any moment, then we cannot, means at least 10% of the users are unable to continue with their work. Okay, got my point? When we are using a network operating system which provides with little or no fault tolerance capability, if it is fault tolerance capable, then no problem, but with no fault tolerance capability, if 10% of the machines are down, then at least we cannot do, 10% of the users are unable to continue their work as they are in a network. So in this feature in distributed operating system is unaffected, means most of the users are normally unaffected by the failed machines. Even the machine fail also, we can continue to perform the work normally. So with only a 10% loss in performance of the entire distributed computing system. So distributed systems are fault tolerant. Fault tolerance means they can overcome any faults. So the fault tolerance capability of a distributed operating system is usually very high as compared to that of network operating system. Okay, to summarize, fault tolerance is high in a distributed operating system, autonomy is less in a distributed computing system, and the system image is also hidden in distributed computing system. So a distributed computing system that uses a network operating system is usually referred to as a network system. Okay, whereas the one that uses a distributed operating system is called as a distributed system. Okay, so when the distributed operating system is usually referred to as true distributed system, or we can simply say it as a distributed system. If we use a distributed operating system, it is referred to as a distributed system. If we use a distributed computing system that uses what we have discussed before, network operating system, a distributed computing system that uses a network operating system is referred to as network system. Okay, both distributed computing system, if the network operating system is loaded, then it is called as a network system. A distributed computing system, if the operating system is distributed operating system, then we can call it as a distributed system. Okay, next, coming to issues in designing a distributed operating systems. The next topic is this one, issues in designing a distributed operating system. Previous what we have discussed, why distributed systems are gaining popularity and what is meant by a distributed operating systems, what are the features which differing network operating system and distributed operating system we have discussed. So the next topic is issues in designing a distributed operating system. In general, the designing of the distributed operating system is more difficult. In system models we have seen, it is difficult to design a distributed operating system than centralized operating system for several reasons. These are the reasons behind why we are saying that designing a distributed system is more difficult. The first one is the transparency. Under transparency, we have access transparency and location transparency. In location transparency, we have two main concepts like the name transparency aspect and user mobility concept. And the next reason is replication transparency, failure transparency, migration transparency, concurrency transparency, performance transparency, and scaling transparency. All these are the one of the reasons for saying that if there are issues in designing a operating system. The other issues are reliability, fault avoidance, fault tolerance. We should develop or design an operating system, distributed operating system in such a way that it is reliable, fault avoidance, it can tolerate in during faults, fault detection and recovery. It should be flexible. It should the performance of that operating system should be high. Scalability should be there, heterogeneity, and at last the security and protection is also much more important, and these issues should be considered while designing a distributed operating system. More about this we will discuss in detail about the issues in designing the distributed operating system in next lecture. Thank you.